Okay, so yeah, let's just go ahead and kick it off with a lot of stuff that I'm starting to realize, sort of starting to understand. What's really kind of going on is there's two classes of people driving the change, three classes. The first is going to be those who have religious conviction, so to speak. These are the people who ultimately are rationally concerned about their place in, existence, essentially. I mean, they're worried about what it means to be alive and their soul and stuff like that. These are the people that are changing things, wanting it to follow. The second class are those who did not know about the nefarious nature of the crimes that were being committed in wars that were unnecessary, false flag operations, psychological operations destroying society. These are people who are out for a vengeance. They actually are driven by a gut instinct to put an end to that, and I happen to sympathize strongly with those people. The third tier of persons that are driving this change are insiders who just know that regardless of how you spin it, the current structure cannot actually last. As the 100-year anniversary comes up for the Federal Reserve, there's a sense in which it is actually not working. And they don't know what to do about it. There you go. Those are the three people that are changing things, okay? How did you know these things and yet you didn't do anything about them, kind of thing? And this is my reason for trying to promote the idea that we need to come up with a way to propose that there needs to be a sort of forgiveness movement. In essence, we need them. We need things to turn around. There's clearly an incentive, a spiritual incentive. I mean, you're not going to live forever. You're going to die, okay? I don't know what happens, but I do know that there are value assessments to value terminology, and so if after you die and it's not nothing, then you must be concerned at least a little bit about whether or not it's bad that the Federal Reserve System, which is almost 100 years old now, has committed the most atrocious crimes. I warn you that there is a spiritual world, and I think there's a concern that by pulling the rug out from under this whole thing, that too much damage will be done. And in some sense, I suppose that's true. As badly as I want to get that rug out, the people at the top, in this constant artificial money printing club way, were consolidating their own positions. It was ebbing and getting rid of those social connections which were necessary for the rest of humanity to be able to integrate. It's just absolutely inhumane to make people think that their entire lives are only worth what they gather of Federal Reserve notes for a few hours in the day, of which there is no subject to be discussed at that point. The people at the top do not understand this, or if they do, are entirely afraid of being one of the now normal people who are stuck in the position of being that way. No, the answer is you will not. When you get rid of the paradigm, when you get rid of the system, then everybody has essentially what you have. You do not fall into the same state of slavery when you get rid of the institution of slavery. Now, obviously, when I say we get rid of it, something has to be put in place. And as much as people think that this new thing that will be put in place is somehow the work of the devil himself, I can very much assure you, you were living in the tribulation. You were clearly living under the devil's watch. These are the death throes of the old way. And this is scaring people who are in positions of privilege at this time, because they're worried about what it means for them. Maybe they've committed crimes and they think retribution will be taken against them. Perhaps they have lived in a state of, say, luxury for so long that the idea that that would be pulled out from under them is just devastating. They can't even imagine it. What we need is the well-structured Constitution as it is. And I know that there are probably tons of think tanks gaming everything out. And it's comforting to think, but the problem is that these same think tanks were the ones who were participating in criminal activity. So maybe they were doing that unwillingly, and maybe they are happy to turn things around. I don't know. But these are, I would think, clever people. And unfortunately, I have to hope that they were just sabotaging some of the things that they were trying to do. And all you've ever known is this huge illusion. And you look around and so many people are still in the illusion. And sometimes I realize things like, I'm one of the only people who even get this. You know what I'm saying? That the metaphysical implications set my head spinning, and I have to bear these sort of thought processes by myself, and it's very disconcerting. It's also very scary to consider that these things are not being thinken about by those people in the power structure as these changes are made. I mean, some of these operations are just really childish. So in other words, it's kind of like, people probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but I must continue to apply the pressure upon you to help you understand. You know how much it strikes me how much these very strange synchronous events are actually happening. Like, it's basically evidence of higher dimensions, God, the devil, prophecy, things like that. I mean, when you engage yourself in these matters, you inevitably find yourself involved in them. And there are very few of us, actually. Maybe hundreds, maybe even less than that. And you begin, I think, from the perspective first person, or from the observer, or from, you start thinking metaphysical thoughts like, crazy thoughts like, what is my relationship to the way things are going? What is my relationship to the universe? And then why waste all of this human potential that's out here? So when I start thinking these things, I start basically worrying that it's all broken and it's all about to break. And I'm like, whoa, guys, it's bad right now. Let's go ahead and start fixing it. So, obviously there are questions running rampant, I think, on the inside trying to figure that out. Well, here I am talking to you because I'm also trying to figure it out. I don't know. There's so many ways to game all of this out. Yeah, these are the kind of things that basically drove me into a state of insanity. Like a state of like hypersanity is what I call it. Like when you look up, say, the Joker, they say he's in a state of hypersanity, and I would say it's very much like that. I start thinking about the profoundness of reality, and there's all of these uncertains and unknowns, and these are profound thoughts. This is good stuff to hear and good stuff to